Good morning and welcome to BOTB HQ in Parsons Green, southwest London. My name is Christian Williams, a presenter here at BOTB, and we're here this morning to judge the latest midweek car competition, which ran from the 4th to the 10th of February 2021. Just before I hand over to the lawyer this morning, once again, a huge congratulations to last week's winner of the midweek car competition, Sandy Davies, winning that incredible little Toyota GR Yaris Plus £30,000. I'd now like to pass over to Robin Cumming from Onside Law, who will oversee the proceedings this morning.
My name's Robin Cumming from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditors as is. I would now like today's judges to introduce themselves and, using the secure link provided, mark on the screen where they think the centre of the ball should be. The group will then come to a final panel decision.
Good morning, my name's Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer and looking forward to playing again this season, I hope.
My name is Chloe Morgan and I'm a goalkeeper for Crystal Palace Women.
Good morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, a mentor, a tutor and observer.
Good morning, my name's Andy Braithwaite and I'm a football referee, mentor and licensed observer.
My name's Liam Walsh. I'm a retired referee, currently an FA observer and head coach for the Referee Academy of Middlesex.
Hi, I'm Matthew Ray. I've affiliated in multiple counties across England, currently in Gloucestershire, and have refereed from grassroots through to professional academies.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Leo Donnellan. I'm an ex-professional football player, having been with Chelsea, Fulham and Leyton Orient.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Mendonca. I've been involved in football for over 30 years, firstly as a player, then as a referee.
Good morning, my name is Alain Goma. I'm an ex-professional footballer, having played for Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle and Fulham.
Good morning, my name is Roger Wheeler. I'm a referee and I've been refereeing and lining for more than 30 years.
Judges, please now come to a final panel decision. For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 10 individual selections.
Thanks, Robin. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay, we'll draw some lines up. We've got this guy who's quite passive in blue, just looking up. It's a bit wider with Roger's selection. There we go. To Andy there on the right. And we have this other player in orange. And we've got a view of his eye, but not a very clear one. And I'll take it across from here. And we've got a third player in the background just on looking. Looking at the shot from my perspective, it looks, he's obviously up on his own, not being challenged for the ball. And he seems, his body's twisted and he's in the air. So it would suggest to me he's come up and given it a head across over the top of the blue player who's just watching the ball over the top of him and in the foreground. Ari, you're down here with me. Highlighting your cross there. Yeah. I went slightly lower as well, just because I thought that when he'd headed it, looked like quite a powerful header, and I went slightly lower. How did you see this?
I felt exactly the same. I felt that the when he had it, we just have partial high over there, so there's not much. But by the shape of his head, and I felt that the ball is lower, and I felt that the ball is just cruising by in front of the player in light blue. That was my view.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, Alain, I'll go to you next. You're of the three of us, sort of. Well, you're slightly above us, but you're there close to the calculated average. How did you see that? Obviously, as a footballer and a defender, how would you have played that?
The thing is, I think the player in orange hasn't played the ball yet.
Okay.
Because when you look at the position of his head, I think he's slightly tilted on his right, and I think he's coming to hit it, maybe with the left side of his forehead. So I think he's still on his way up and he's attacking the ball.
Okay.
And yeah, as you said, we can't really see, his eye is not really clear. But I think, I gauged, the play in blue. I think he's looking. I think most of us, we are in agreement. He's looking towards, like, in front of himself. Sorry, and I thought the ball was coming quite with pace, and therefore not that high. That's why I went for this position.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a different view, but important. Roger, you're furthest over here to the left and highest. What were your thoughts?
Well, actually, like Alan, I didn't think he'd played the ball. I thought he was, prepping himself up to go for it. And he was, in a position where he would be the one. He was pretty confident of heading the ball, but there was just a little way to go. And as you say, his eye, we can't really see much of his eye. I just thought the ball was, still well in the air, which is why I'm near the top, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. I'll come straight to you, Liam. I'll highlight your selection. It's very close to the calculated average in the middle of three choices of both Leo and Hughes as well. Excuse me. How did you see the photograph?
I agree with you, actually, Matt, on the fact that I felt that he'd headed the ball. Whether he's headed it or he's about to header it, I mean, that's it's just a personal interpretation. I think. Yeah. Fully accept what Alan's saying. But I've just gone for eye line. Eye line, body shape. The blue gave me a really good sort of channel where I was looking. Pretty much, same line as yourself. And then I went for the eye line of the orange player. I felt that with his eyes, my interpretation of it was that he'd headed the ball and his eyes were just starting to open, because a player will naturally, as the ball hits his head, his eyes will shut, and then he's just opening his eyes. That's why he's got that sort of like slight eye. That's why you're getting that sort of that vision. But that's just my interpretation.
No, sure. Thank you very much. And Leo, I'll go to you. You're right next to Liam's choice, and as another footballer, how have you seen this photograph?
Hi, Matt. Yeah, no, I actually felt the player in orange had headed the ball. I just felt, if you look at his left arm, I think if he'd headed the ball, his sort of his body shape sort of lessens, so his arm would sort of come down, and that's why I think because of his left arm, I felt he'd headed the ball. It could be either or, but for me, as I said, I think he headed the ball. Then looking at the player in blue, I think he's looking in front of himself and directly above. So yeah, once again with the eye line, so I just gauged it where I did.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll come to you, Hugh, as well, because you're in this sort of very tight group of three of you and very close to the calculated average as it is. How did you see the picture?
Yeah, similar to you, Leo and Liam. I think he has played it. I think the way his body's twisted kind of tells me I think he's played it rather than him twisting before heading it. And agree with Leo about his body shape. Looks a little odd if he was going to jump. So for me, yeah, he's played it. He's sort of twisted and dropped down after playing it. So it's that distance away. And I just felt, although you can't see a lot of his eye, I mean, we've all said it, he's looking up to some extent, but I just felt he was looking up a little steeply too.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And Chloe, you're on this sort of tighter cluster, highlighting yours there over to the left a little bit. How did you see the photograph?
Yeah, I think I agree with what Leo and Liam were saying. I think the stance of his body seems to suggest that he's already taken the impact of the ball. It's very kind of close. His left arm is very close to his body, as if he's sort of already changed or transferred that power over to the ball to head away. So yeah, I definitely took it as if he'd already headed. And I was just a little bit further over to the left. I kind of took the midpoint of the blue player's eyes, but it looked to me as if he was looking slightly more to the left than directly straight up.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. All right. Lovely. And I'll go to the last two. Andy, you're ever so slightly further to the right. You're over there with Matthew. How did you see the photo?
Thanks, Matt. To me, the reason we have these sort of pictures is that obviously they are thought-provoking. We've all come up with different things. I feel that the guy in blue is a little bit further back than probably some of you might think. So to me, he's a little bit further back. The guy in orange, now bear with me with this one, for want of a better term, his shorts are quite tight. To me, he's on the ground. He's parrying that header from being on the ground. If he was in the air, I think the shorts would probably be a little bit looser. I feel that his eye line takes me through to where my cross is there, and the guy in blue is looking into, as we've always said before, like a 2D into the space coming more towards here. And that's basically why I put my centre of my ball where I have done there.
Yeah, so you think he's on the ground. I mean, I can understand that the shorts are tight, but I mean, it's not as though the player in blue is blurred like the other player in orange.
No.
So yeah, okay.
It's just an opinion, obviously.
Yeah, no, sure. Yeah. Matthew, you're just up here. I'm highlighting yours now with the magnifier. How did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I looked at was the blue plays. Is the only one where we've got two clear eyes. I think his left-hand high is probably looking ever so slightly to his left. So I've pulled that trajectory up. It's really difficult to see the eyes of the player in orange. I've actually used the tilt of his head. I think he is looking at the ball. I've used the tilt of his head to try and get that trajectory, almost from the eye to the top of his ear, just to find that spot. It is a case of how high up. I think he has played the ball. If he was on his way up, I would expect two arms to be up. But I think he has played the ball, and I just see it as a bit higher up than others.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we've basically got two opinions. Alan's of the opinion the ball's still got to be played, and the majority of us think the ball has already been played. But we're all in the same. I think the trajectory of the ball blue player looking up. I'm going to remove Roger because I think he's far enough away. And it drops the average down a little bit. If I leave Roger in and put the calculated average on here, we've got sort of four of us outside the magnifier to a degree. And if I remove Roger, the calculated average just comes into this cluster of four. And if I highlight it, and it does pick up four other choices pretty well. What I'd like to debate really a little bit further is really if I take Andy's out, we've obviously Matthews is slightly higher, but it brings us into a sort of a tighter cluster. I'm not for the minute suggesting that Andy's choice isn't valid, and he obviously had again a different opinion about this player number 6 being on the ground and heading the ball, which I personally don't agree with. I think it makes it's sort of difficult to justify with the photograph, but it's really whether we want to bring the calculated average a little bit further to the left. So Chloe, I'll come to you in order. Are you happy with this calculated average, or do you think we should look further at moving it?
To be honest, I'm happy with the calculated average as it is with Andy remaining. I think it kind of provides a good balance, and from where you are placing the ball on the midpoint of the cross, it touches all of the crosses. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Yeah,
okay. So what I'm going to do as well is I think is if I draw another line through the calculated average from the player in orange, there's basically we have 4 people below and 5 people above the middle of this line, and if we have a player in red, again moving up from his forehead through the middle, again it's really, again it's 5 and 4 in the opposite direction. So it does lend me to believe that Andy should be in. I just took Andy's cross because it was further over to the right. Hugh?
Yeah, I agree with Chloe. I think it's good with it in. It's a good average, and it does just touch as a cluster. So yeah, I'm happy with Andy in.
Thank you. Andy?
Yeah, I'm happy with that average.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Liam?
Yes, I'm happy with that average, Matt.
Great. Thank you. Matthew?
Yeah, it's a good spread. I want to keep Andy in, please.
Yeah, great. Leo?
Yeah, I'd keep Andy in.
Yep. Ari?
Yeah, I'll keep Andy in as well.
Great, lovely. Alain?
Yeah, happy as it is. Yeah, with Andy. Yeah.
And lastly, Roger. I know
Yeah,
I've
I'm
removed you.
very
but-
happy with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thanks, Matt.
Well, thank you for a good debate, guys and girls. So Robin, we've decided to go with the judging of average with Roger's choice removed.
Thanks, Matt. If you're all happy, then please click submit. Thank you, judges. The coordinates selected are 1225, 809. These coordinates will now be passed to the auditors ASETs to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.